Hola! You're back. Now that we've gone through the general standard forms of a hyperbola, what it is, and all of its different parts, and what it looks like, we'll take a look at some examples. Find the center, vertices, foci, and the asymptote equation. So we're given number 12 here. Okay, take a look. Follow along on your notes. So let's do the center first, right? Center is always the easiest one to kind of know. Now here it's just -3 and +2, so you've got that. Now let's come to some conclusions here. What kind of hyperbola is this? Is it the horizontal orientation or is it the vertical? And you've come to the conclusion that x squared is positive, therefore it's horizontal, so it should look like this. Next thing you should find is your A, B, C. All right. So remember, the a squared and b squared never change position for a hyperbola. So your a should have been 12, your b is 5. And your c squared equals a squared plus b squared, which is 169. So your c, making your c equal 13. So we're going to need all that information, right? Okay. So let's find the next thing. So we found the center. Yay! One thing done. Now what I would do if I were you here is I would start kind of sketching this out just to help me, even if it didn't ask, just so I have an idea, okay? So why don't I do that on the side here, okay? So I have, oh, yeah, it's pretty big, huh? Oh, not that big, okay. So I could see that I have this graph. You can just do it on a little side sketch, just so you know. Your center is -3, +2. That's your center. And your A is 12. That means you have to go 12 this way to find the vertex. And then you have to go 12 this way to find the other vertex. And then you know your foci is 13. That means it's inside, right? So just kind of have general idea. That means it's going to go like that. Okay? So let's think about that shape. So you know it's going to look like this. You know it's going to have this. You know it's going to have this. You know it's a foci inside. And you know it's a center inside. Okay? Now, so let's find the vertex first, vertices first. Okay? Now the vertices in a horizontal, right? It's going to do what? You should have two values, so you should have got that already. It's going to be -3 plus or -12, and then the y-coordinate doesn't change. Therefore, it's going to be 9, 2 is what I got first, okay? And -15, 2. Now, if this example is too simple for you, you can skip on to the other ones, okay? Now, how about the foci? You're right. Foci, it's because it's 12 away vertex, right? It's your A distance away. Now, how about the foci? It's inside. It's farther away than your vertex. So it's going to be -3 plus or negative your C, which is 13, and your Y value stay the same. So your foci should have been 10, 12, 10, 2, and -16, 2. Okay? Now, start sketching. Start sketching if you have to, okay? Because I do think that it does help you. So let's try this. You know what? My grid is not large enough, so I'm going to just kind of have an idea and just sketch. Because I think sketching is easier for you to recognize the actual asymptote. So if you have a little, even a little one, okay? So even a little one, okay? So you have your center here, and you have this nice rectangle, because this is your transverse axis, but this is your conjugate axis. That means this is your B, right? And this is your A. Okay, so let's write the equation of the asymptote. Remember, the asymptote is going to just your branches are reaching the asymptote. So what is this? It's going to be your B. So, let's start with your K, right? Your y-intercept. Your K is 2, plus or negative, because it can go this way or this way. It's a negative slope or a positive slope. So it's up B, right or left A, and then your left, not right or left, B, A. You already know your B, right? What's your B? Your B is 5. What's your A? Your A is 12. And X minus what? Your H value, which is 3. -3. So here's the equation of the asymptote. This is the hardest one and the strangest one, so I hope you understand that, okay? Now, I want you to look at number 22. Stop the video and take a look at and see what you got, okay? Now, again, you're going to have to rearrange this, right? So then the y's are together, the x's are together. Try your completing the square here, okay? Now, when you complete the square, did you get this? Now, stop the video if you have to, okay? 9y plus 3 squared minus x minus 1 squared equals 18. All I did is complete the square. I didn't show the work because we've been doing this for a while now. You have to make this a 1. So I got y plus 3 squared over 2 minus x minus 1 squared over 18 equals 1. Now, what do you notice here? The y squared, right, is positive. That means it's a vertical, right? It's a vertical. So just kind of, I like to do these little things here just to show me and guide you, okay? And don't forget that, you have your little rectangle to guide you on how to graph this. Your b value should help that, okay? All right, so go through your steps, right? Your center, you should have got 1, -3. Your a, b, c, you should have got a is equal to √2, b is equal to 3√2, c is equal to 2√5, since c squared is equal to a squared plus b squared. Okay, check your answers there. Now, the foci, let's do the foci now. Foci? Well, you know that foci has to do with your y-coordinate from your vertex, right? So it's here and it's up C. So you're going to go 1, but it's -3 plus or negative. I want you to calculate this all the way. But for any radicals like this, you can just leave it like that for me, okay? How about vertices, right? Hopefully you got something like 1, -3, plus or negative √2, right? Because yours a is √2, okay? Something like that, okay? The equation for the asymptote. Again, asymptote is what? It's good to sketch because then you can see that it goes up A and right or left B, because that's your conjugate axes, okay? So your asymptote you should have got is 3 asymptote equation. You should have got y equals, you start with the k, y-intercept, which your y-intercept was a -3. -3 plus or negative, up √2, left or right, 3√2, x minus 1, which simplifies to -3 plus or negative 1 over 3, x minus 1. Check your answers, okay? All right, that covers 2 types of questions, but let's go over some other types of questions that you're going to run into, okay? You know what? Let's take a break. Let's sketch. So why don't you guys find this page on your notes? The part 1.5, which says sketch. So go to sketch. Okay? So let's sketch. Let's do a simple one and then we'll get harder, okay? So we have this sketch one right here. Let's make some conclusions, okay? Let's come to some conclusions. Is this guy a vertical, horizontal? Well, I see that x squared is positive, right? So come to some conclusion. You know it's going to look something like that. And we're going to actually really sketch this sucker, okay? So be ready for that. Okay, now, that means we need to get this guy into the equation of, right? And you can see that there's no h and hk, right? So the origin, it starts at the origin, huh? So well, let's actually simplify this to the common form, which is x squared over a squared minus y squared over b squared is equal to 1. That's not in that form yet, so we're going to divide everything by 16. So we get x squared over 4 minus y squared over 16 is equal to 1. Now that's your STD. Yep, that's the only STD you're allowed to get, okay? All right. So now we start with this. Now let's do our HK, which is our origin or our center, right? Okay, let's do our ABC. Okay, we've come to all this conclusion already. So ABC, your A is going to equal, you're right, 2. Your B is going to equal 4. I heard you. And C squared is equal to A squared plus B squared, so 4 plus 16, right? A squared plus B squared, which is 20. That means C must be 2√5. Now, for graphing purposes, I want to know exact values. So this is about 4.472, okay? All right. Now let's do our vertices and our foci, okay? Now, you know it's a horizontal orientation. So you know it's going to affect the x-coordinate or the h-coordinate, right? So your vertices are going to be 0 plus or negative. Oh, you have to add your a value, 2, and your y value or your k value does not change, okay? How about your foci? Your c value, right? Your c value is 2√5, so you know it's going to be plus or negative 2√5 and 0, okay? Now we're going to graph this sucker. Let's do the asymptote equation a little bit later after we graph, okay? So let's start sketching. So I'll get up my coordinate plane. If you don't have one, it's okay. Just kind of try to sketch. But you remember how important scaling is? That's why I'm using a real coordinate plane. So I'm going to start at 0, 0. Now, I'm going to plot all the points I know. This is my vertex 1. This is my vertex 2. I'm going to do my foci 2, which is 4.472. So 4.472. Kind of far away, huh? 4.472. It's about negative 2. So this is my, I'm going to put a little x there. So it's my center 2, negative 2, 4.472 right here. Okay? But you know my branches are going to touch this. Now, I don't like to do the branches until I'm done with my B. I'm going to go up 4 for B. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's my B. 1, 2, 3, 4. B. You know why I like that? Because the method that the steps I like to take is this, because then I could go, oh, okay, how big are my branches going to be? Because I have my little rectangle here, my little rectangle system. Okay? Now I could draw my branches pretty cute. Because I know that it's tangent to this, so I know. Oh, and also this helps. If you actually sketch out the asymptotes, just follow along and connect the corners of your rectangle, okay? And this will guide you on how to draw your branches. It should touch the vertex on one side, and then your branches should go towards the asymptotes. So again, let's do that again. You see what I mean? I think these steps really help you. Okay, it's a perfect hyperbola. So now let's write our equation of asymptotes. Okay? So it's going to be y equals, your k was 0 plus or negative. Now look, b over a again, right? Because this is your a. How much is your b? 4. Your a is 2. X minus 0, because our hk was 0. So it's going to be plus or negative 2x is our equation of our asymptote. See how easy it is to sketch? Okay, so now here's what I want you to do. I have one more sketching example for you, but why don't you stop the video and try sketching that one on your own the same way we did this one. So your sketching looks like this, right? Okay, and you can watch on a speedy mode how we got to this, how we can actually sketch this. Okay, so stop the video, check back with me later. Welcome back. So did you somehow reorganize this so you got something like x squared plus 2x plus 1 minus 3y squared equals negative 16, but I'm going to add 4 because I added a random foreign value here. 1 times 4, right? Okay, so when I completed the square and I got something like this because I know I need to get this equal 1. Okay, I haven't made any conclusions yet. So I don't like to write like that. I like to write the y squared outside, okay? Over negative 12 is equal to 1. Yay! But now what happens here is so strange. So you know that this becomes negative, this becomes positive. So let's swap it. So it's y squared over 4 and minus x plus 1 squared over 3 is equal to 1. So let's make some conclusions here. Y squared is positive. Y squared is positive. That means it's going to be a vertical hyperbola. Okay, so have an idea, write this down, right? So you know it's gonna go E or E, like that, okay? I know it's not this ugly. You're gonna make it beautiful. Okay, so now let's make some conclusions. Vertex. You got negative 1, 0. Yeah? Great. Give yourself a high five. All right. Now let's do your A, B, C. Did you get your A to equal 2? Your B is this right here, B squared, so it's root 3. Your C, did you guys get root 7? Because this and this added together, square root of that root 7, which is about 2.6, because it's going to guide us when we're graphing. Okay, so let's find the coordinates of our foci and our vertices. Okay, it's vertical, so you know it's the y values that are affected, which helps us because it's 0 here, huh? So your foci is going to be root 7, right? And negative 1, negative root 7, yeah? Okay, because it's going to go opposite direction. So here and here. C value, right? Okay, now your vertices are going to be negative 1, but 2 and negative 2. and negative 1, negative 2. Okay, so it's going to be, so you're going to start here, which is negative 1, 0. I'm going to graph it exactly in a sec, okay? So let's take those values here and let's graph this, okay? I have another graph here that I'm going to use. Where happened to it? Ah, there it is, okay? So let's try this graph. I'm going to try graphing exactly. It's very important that you graph exactly, okay? So let's start with our vertex, negative 1, 0. Yeah, okay? Now let's do our foci, negative 1, root 7, which I told you is 2.6. So right here and down 2.6. Okay. Let's do our vertices, negative 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, negative 1, negative 2. Okay, remember I told you, don't start sketching your branches. You have to be precise as possible. So let's go now to our B value, root 3. Root 3 is about 1.73. So it's going to be 1.73 maybe here and 1.73. So it's a pretty skinny rectangle you see. You connect the A and the B, okay, the rectangle here. So now draw your little asymptote lines, okay? The ones that connect the corners, opposite corners of your rectangle that you've constructed. So now you can draw this. Beautiful. Beautiful. Okay? Beautiful. That's right. Now let's find the equation of our asymptote. Our asymptote. Okay? What did you go up? You went up A. So when you started at K, where K was 0 though, plus or negative, up A. Your A is 2, right or left 3, root 3, and X minus whatever your vertex was, your Hong Kong was 1. So that's your equation. So you could just write it as plus or negative 2 root 3 x plus 1. You could just leave it like that, okay? All right. So good luck with sketching.